So, we're doing something a little different today. Welcome
Howdy.
back. We're doing a little bit of a video podcast situation because why?
Because there's not a lot. We're going to do a little bit of talking about what normally goes into our process, the games that we pick, why we pick the games that we pick.
And some games that aren't quite out yet that we're super jazzed about too. And also
Yeah.
some changes because life happens.
End of the year, things are going to be a little bit weird between now and I would say even January 1st, just because there's lots of holidays.
Yeah.
You're traveling for holidays. I'm traveling for work every week. There's a lot going on right now. So,
But it'll be kind of nice because I like talking. What you looking forward to, man?
I'm looking forward to a lot of things. My biggest ticket item on my Christmas list is a Palladium game.
Which one?
TMNT. I want
old school one?
to find the first book
They're not hard to find, and when I was
in decent shape.
Yeah, when I was reading about them too, it's weird because they almost kind of like cross the line between like a tabletop and a board game, but they're very small, like adventures, I guess I would say.
Right.
There's not like this huge, massive, like overall kind of like arcing campaign, and they were like super small, dude. They're like almost like little magazines.
But there's lots of things that are coming out. Stingers and Spores. I have the PDF for now. The book's coming eventually. I've had 3 or 4 lock in the past 2 or 3 days as far as shipping that are getting ready to start shipping in the next few
I
months.
just got my confirmation
soon.
for Delta Green. Yep, and I also got my confirmation for how to role play with your cat.
That one.
I'm pretty jazzed about that. It's its own system, and you can like inject it in other games too. And the way your cat reacts is basically your role. It's gonna be fun.
We just got the one on Nova.
Mm-hmm.
That one will be a fun one. We need to try that one soon.
Anthem to tabletop on them.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I do think that he's got a lot of other games too that are neat. I'm a big Destiny fan. His light RPG is good. Spencer's looks really, really dope. Probably gonna be picking that up pretty soon too. I really have this really crazy idea, and I talked to you about it before when it comes to games like that are heavily involved with like loot, because the game's super fast action, light on the RP, go through, kick ass pretty much, get gear.
Yeah.
They create a weapon generator, like just go through, pull up a spreadsheet, put all this shit in a spreadsheet, and random select. All right, that's the loot. There you go.
Yep.
I think that'd be super
It's
cool.
a lot of stuff on the front end to have to do, but
It's just a random numbers generator. I mean, for something like that, yeah, but
it would be so good. It would take a lot of work, but you could go and you could grab stuff from this game and stuff from that game and all these other looter shooters where it's like, oh, this is how it works in here, and let me do a little flavor twist, and now it's this.
I mean, because the core of those games is the loot grinding. Like,
Right.
shit, we've been playing the hell out of Destiny this season. I finally just got the damn primary I needed to drop after 2.5 weeks.
Pinnacles take a while.
Yes, they do.
Pinnacles take a while.
Speaking of TMNT, man, I had a pretty big obsession with TMNT when I was a kid. I think as far as my first kind of like, oh, I'm all about this, I think TMNT was probably the first big one for me. Watching the cartoons and stuff growing up, it was pretty heavy. Like, they had this competition thing, or like sweepstakes, I guess. You remember KB Toys?
Mm-hmm.
They had this thing where you could go in, like, you had like little scratch off tickets, and like one of them was like get a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like videotape.
Cool.
VHS was tight. Dude, I had so many action figures too.
Oh yeah. I had a lot. I didn't have very like I had a piece from a set, like 1 or 2 pieces from so many different sets, but I never had a full set, or never had like the piece I wanted from the set. It was just what I could find. And then Zach had, I don't want to talk about how many. Zach had almost all of it. All of it.
There was this really wild time, like Christmas, like during like the whole SNES era, when it was like the Super Nintendo and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's all I ever wanted for Christmas. I remember my mom said she went to shout out to Toys R Us, RIP.
I haven't been there in a while.
Yeah, right. And my mom went to Toys R Us, and she's like going around the aisles. It's like, oh, my kids need Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then there's like this dude that just kind of creeps out from the back. I'm pretty sure he's probably wearing a trench coat.
Of course.
Like, hey, where'd you need them turtles? He was really just an employee that worked there. But
Knew they had
takes
a
my
phone in the
mom's back corner of the store and has this box, and my mom just basically rifling through
Nice.
shit. And then it was Power Rangers, and that leads me on to my next thing.
I kind of figured you were going.
That's exactly where I was going with this. So I reached out to Renegade Games. I'm pretty stoked about it. I wasn't under any type of NDA thing, so I think I can say it. We're going to be getting an advanced copy of the Power Rangers tabletop game.
I'm so excited to dig into that.
Yeah, they've got their own D20 system.
They made it for that, Transformers,
G.I.
and
Joe.
G.I. Joe. Yep.
Ironically enough, we're getting those too.
It's gonna be so much cool.
Dude, it's because of the hit back in the nostalgia, man.
Yeah.
Like, I love the Turtles, man. Like, through and through, I've seen all the movies. We don't talk about Turtles in Time, even though I want to.
I'm waiting for Renegade to get a hold of Turtle.
That would be tight.
That'd be really cool.
I'm almost like a no-brainer.
Right? I mean, they got all the other ones from back then. Why not?
Speaking of Renegade, they also have some of the publication rights for VTM. Would really, really appreciate if somebody would kind of reach out to us and maybe even tell us where to start for some Vampire the Masquerade, because World of Darkness is something that I've really been wanting to look at for a long time, and there's a lot. There's a lot to go off of. But I digress. Power Rangers. Next to TMNT, I had probably cumulatively like more action figures and more toys and more like even like VHS tapes. I would literally come home every day and watch it as it kind of popped on the TV obsessively. I stopped watching right when they went to space, because that's when I thought it started getting a little too hokey.
That's fair.
But the fact that this is a tabletop game now,
Yeah.
and I get to be a fucking Power Ranger,
Yeah.
and I get to run through all those stories and stuff, well, speculating,
It'll
I
be
guess,
cool. It'll be cool.
about these monsters and stuff. I want to look into the book. I want to find out how they bring the Zords together. I want to find out how the weapons are going to work. I need to find out how these weapons are going to combine to create the Mega Blasters. I could go on about this game forever. I'm excited. I'm going to shut up now because I'm taking this over.
No, keep going. This is cool. This is cool. This is what I'm here for. This is why we're doing this instead.
Because it's the fucking Power Rangers. I even just found out recently that Jason David Frank signed up for this a video. It's a movie that they're putting out through Bat in the Sun.
Yes.
Called the White Dragon.
White Dragon.
And I'm like, oh, it's not.
I've
he's
seen
not
that
playing
coming
Tommy.
around.
He looks like he's Tommy.
It looks like a Power Ranger
It looks
suit,
like
but
a
it's
Super
a little,
Sentai,
it's
yeah.
a little bit more.
But I'm
It's
like,
a little
but I'm
bit
just
extra.
like,
It's been on TikTok quite
give
a
it
bit.
to me. It's all
Yeah.
over my Instagram feed now, because
Nice.
I shit you not, dude. I was in bed the other night and I was like doom scrolling through his feed. I was like, oh, that's tight.
You're right.
Oh, that's tight. That's tight. Mad respect, Jason David. Got love for you, bro. Keep it up.
So here's one. We don't talk about it a lot. There's new D&D stuff coming out.
Yeah, there's 2 books. They just got that little collector's edition thing, and there's also like that 5.5 thing that's on its way.
Are you interested really at all in any of it?
Full disclosure. Although it's become a
Yeah,
meme
yeah.
to kind of make fun of and poke fun of wizards and
No.
stuff like that on the channel. Wizards as a whole has made some pretty shitty decisions, namely with community. And I don't want to get into that, because if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. However, I will always have a soft place in my heart for Dungeons and Dragons. I love D&D for what it was, for bringing me into a lot of these other tabletop games that I've become a fan of. To say that I'm not excited about it, I don't know if I would say is accurate. I'm kind of just like, that's cool, but I don't really care about a 5.5. 5th, in my opinion, is already too simplified, and my biggest problem with it, and I've said it before, is it really feels like over time you become a one-trick pony, and it doesn't matter what class you play. So if some of that stuff changes and stuff, cool. I don't know if I'm gonna like go for a pre-order or anything, but I'll probably read the book or a PDF or something like that.
That's fair. I'm in very much the same boat. Till next edition, I'm really just kind of done. And even then, next edition, I'm not diving in, looking in and like, oh, I'm gonna pick it up on day one and go hard and play a campaign that lasted almost a year, half a year, however long I can make it last. And I'm not.
There's so many other games out there that are so dope. Like,
yeah.
To say that I'm not obviously more jazzed about Power Rangers would be a lie, because I am far more excited about what that game, and I really hope it brings what I'm looking for. I really do. Or honestly, dude, like I'm kind of got a borderline obsession right now with wanting to play Vampire the Masquerade. Like I'm listening to audio podcasts. Shout out to Stitches of Fate because your shit is bomb.
So you got those two. I got Stingers and Spores, which I need to dig into.
Delta Green, man.
Delta Green is a big one that I'm wanting to do at some point. Broken Compass, I'm wanting to run at some point.
Delta Green looks... Just kidding. Delta Green, yes, but Broken Compass looks so fun.
Do you go even further? The conversation we had, which we will at some point talk at length about in one of these, I'm sure, of playing Starfinder again.
You came up with this brilliant fucking idea.
And that's where I'm going, but instead of doing ship-to-ship combat, do Starfinder with no ship combat, and instead of the ship combat, you replace it with Lancer's mech combat.
Those two mods so well together. You could, even if you wanted to, it's going to add a lot of shit. And
you could keep the ship combat, but I just don't know that you need it.
It would be a lot.
I feel like the Lancer ship combat is where that game falls down a little bit.
There's no Lancer ship combat.
Or, I'm sorry, not Lancer. Starfinder.
But what if your mechs, right? They fuse together into like this Megazord.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
I can't, man. Like.
But then you're playing Voltron.
Which is Power Rangers. It's literally all the same. Yeah. That whole Super Sentai, like fighting big monsters with robots. I don't give a shit who you are. It's super dope, man.
See, this is why I don't get into many single player games in video games anymore. Because if I did, I'd have dropped $60 last night. And I'd be
Super Robot Warriors 30 or whatever.
30th year anniversary or whatever. Hell yeah, I'd be all over that. Because it's like Front Mission meets every mecha anime in the past 30 years. And
what's like super weird for me, dude, is like I'm not really a big anime fan, right? Like I'm really not. Like I like a lot of the movies.
I'll get him there eventually.
He has tried very hard, and many people have too. Like I like the live action weird hokey stuff.
And I know what it is. It's because you don't read subtitles.
No, you get
lost in the subtitles.
Yeah, I don't know if it's my ADHD that kind of kicks in, but I basically feel like I'm just reading a book. Yeah. And I can't focus on the two. I was watching, I forgot what movie it was. It was the first time I watched Train to Busan. I eventually watched it again, and I was like, it's even better. But I was making up my own story because I was having to go back and forth. And I was like, wait, they're probably just trying to escape the zombies from point A to point B. All right, I get this. And then create some drama. I was like, oh, that's a boy and a girl. They have some kind of romance drama. I don't understand it, but I'm going to assume that's what's going on. Watch it with subtitles. Oh, no, very right. Very right. But there's some, though, that I still get jazzed about. And I feel like it's because, like, I'm almost, like, way into the idea of, like, space monsters and like power armor, like the big power fantasy stuff, because like the Guyver is bad, but the Guyver is like Power Rangers,
right?
It's all that Sentai style type stuff, which is awesome too, because I'm like, well, that's why I'm so jazzed about Queers, because that's exactly what that game is too.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man, I got problems.
I'm just ready for I'm waiting. I'm excited for my books to start coming in.
There's some good ones coming, man. This month is good. I'm really thinking hard, but because and this could kind of move into the next thing, because I'm getting ready to move, I really want to pull the trigger on some more of those Delta Green books, because I have the option to.
There's a lot of them.
Like that $300 bundle, man, I'm kind of just like, I like it.
I'd like it. I would like it a lot.
But I can't do it right now.
Can't do it right now.
So this kind of moves in kind of like one of the other things that we were going to talk about a little bit too. Mm-hmm. So we are currently in Arkansas. I initially am from the West Coast. Literally all over. Grew up in California, moved to Vegas, and ultimately set roots up in Washington. I'm basically heading back there in February. So things are going to be different. So that's kind of like why we wanted to do this as well, because there'll probably be a lot more of these, because remotely these are
easier remotely. It's hard to reach over and do this. whenever you.
Yeah. I don't know, bro. It
5,000
was like a
miles.
3.5 day drive, and that
Yeah.
sucked. Also, driving through Nebraska, that place is empty. Shouldn't be a state.
No. There's no good way to drive over though.
It's so flat.
It doesn't matter which way you go. There's no good way to drive over. It's empty every direction.
I came basically straight down the middle. A lot of people I know have talked about say, well, if you're doing that, come across the northern top and then drop straight down.
Or go down and then over or whatever. But no,
But
it's all empty.
Like, so I go back to California and all that, which I know, and
It's
then come
still
back
empty.
over, and then it was like,
You're gonna hate it because you'll go from here to you'll just essentially just start going west and then hit an interstate that goes from you'll get in Oklahoma.
yeah.
And you'll just take off across Oklahoma. And then you'll get Panhandle of Texas. And then you'll get New Mexico
I've already been to New Mexico
and
I've been to
Arizona, and there
Texas.
is nothing from the time you hit Oklahoma until you get to California.
I already know all those places though. I've already been there.
But yeah, think about it, from here to California.
Well, that's what
there's
so
nothing.
yeah, then that's the way I got to go back because I'm going basically from here back to California where I'm meeting my buddy and we're going back up north.
Yeah.
So I've been like in just a big fucking circle.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So we're trying to come up with different ideas and stuff that we'll be able to do to basically work remotely. And the podcast stuff that like this right here is easier to do because we can basically just grab the files and just kind of push them forth and literally record ourselves on a green screen and just
Yeah.
superimpose us. But other than that, what else do we got going on? Power Rangers is a big thing. I will beat that to the dirt. Don't care.
I don't want to talk about it yet. I do have an idea that I'm wanting to try to start working on next month and try to get some stuff rolling with that. So a little bit of stuff on. We've talked about it. I don't want to talk about it.
I don't remember what it is, so I can't even spoil
No,
it.
it's good.
Type. But yes, so VTM, going back to that, I have always really, really wanted to play this game, and I've never known where to start because once I started getting heavy into D&D and stuff like that, I basically just kind of made a hard right and veered straight into D&D, didn't go anywhere
Right.
else. But
As most people do.
yeah, and like the thing is, like I'm a big horror buff and I'm a big nerd,
I didn't end up in Cthulhu.
right? And now I'm kind of like, oh, Delta Green.
Right? Oh.
And like I was trying to come down to a reason why I want to play it so bad. And I was like, well, most of my favorite games, or more of my favorite movies, I would say, which is
the nostalgia factor.
it's the
the
nostalgia
era.
factor, and it's like the vampire thing, and it's the werewolf thing, and it's the monsters, and it's the ghouls, and I'm just like, all right, yeah. I don't know where to start, man, because everybody says the 5th edition book is put together like boo boo. Everything that I've read in Reddit threads says it's the biggest problem with the 5th edition book.
Mechanically, 5th edition works,
It's the easiest. It's the 5th edition of D&D essentially.
but the lore and everything else
comparison-wise.
is from older editions, and you have to go back to those to get all the lore and everything. But not everything in 5th edition works, so you
Or
need
like
a
in
little
the
bit of
old
this.
books, like
so then you need a little bit.
You got Kane as like the first vampire, and I'm like, oh, sick.
But you had to have each book for each edition to know what. And it was just pick and choose this, and it's like, ugh.
And then in 5th, they revamped. I've read so much about this. This is why I'm so confused about where to start.
Help us.
Yeah, right?
Please. Help.
And then in
Please.
5th, you look at it, and you like everything that I've heard. It's like, well, you've got all these different powers and stuff that are super, super dope.
Somebody come open a vein, let him drink from the source.
Ha ha ha! I like it. See what you did there.
Yeah,
That was a good one.
clever.
Yeah, very
I
good.
try. It's short, it's sweet, but these are what we do when we're sitting around on the couch on a Wednesday and we don't really know where we're going to do in 3 weeks.
Especially when like there's kind of like there's these lull moments, and like
It happens with all gaming.
yeah, absolutely. Like video games and this kind of like almost hand in hand.
Movies too.
Yeah.
Movies will go years.
Unless you got HBO Max, because
No, but movies will go years sometimes.
watch Dune.
I'm about halfway there. We're working on it. We're working our way through it. We can't talk about it yet. That's what we should do. We should talk about it next time.
Dune? They're vampires? I'm just kidding. And on
But until
that
the next time,
note, I'm obsessed with vampires and Power Rangers.
and I'm the mecha guy. And on that note,
We'll catch you later.
See ya.
Stay awesome and love each other. We're out.